The Treaty of Versailles. On June 28, 1919, in Paris, at the Palace of Versailles, dignitaries of the world gathered to sign the document known as the Treaty of Versailles. This document formally ended the First World War and would become one of the leading causes of the Second World War. In the First World War, millions of lives were lost, and there was severe damage done to European countries that became battlegrounds. When the war was settled, people were looking for a nation to blame. It was decided that this nation was Germany. 30 countries negotiated the treaty, however, 4 nations took control of the negotiations. These nations were known as the Big Four and consisted of David Lloyd George of the United Kingdom, Georges Clemenceau of France, Woodrow Wilson of the United States, and Vittorio Orlando of Italy. The main focus of these nations was reparations, as well as reducing the chances of a surprise German attack. This, and blaming Germany for causing the war, laid out the foundations of the terms on the treaty. The treaty consists of 6 main points. They are: Germany must accept all the blame for causing the war. This later became known as the War Guilt Clause. They must pay $31.4 billion in reparations to affected European countries. They must reduce the size of their borders. This ultimately caused the fall of the German Empire. This first picture shows the borders of Germany before the First World War. This second picture shows the borders of Germany after the signing of the Treaty of Versailles. The army must be cut to 100,000 men, as well as only have 6 pre-dreadnought battleships and not contain submarines or an air force. Finally, the Rhineland, an area of Germany along the banks of the Rhine River, where Germany borders with France, Luxembourg, Belgium, and the Netherlands, must be demilitarized. It is important to note that Germany was not involved in the negotiations. The nation looked at the treaty as peace without victory. They even felt embarrassed by some of the terms, such as the War Guilt Clause. Germany was not able to pay the large amount in reparations, which caused their country to fall into a depression. German right-wing politicians used the treaty as a nationalist rallying point. This allowed the rise of Hitler and eventually led to the beginning of the Second World War.